Hello, y'all. Today we are going to do advice on your current situation. This is kind of going to be set up a little bit as a mystery read because I'm not really going to know what it is that we're talking about. I decided to choose 3 different decks to separate the energies in this read so that it's a clear reading on the advice that you need. We'll get into energies that are existing in this moment and in the situation that you're dealing with, and maybe do some charms for you as well. I'm not sure. We'll see. In other news, I have a new look. I have a new setup. I moved everything around. So I'm actually in a different spot, and I decided to get rid of the fabric that I had placed on this previously. And I kind of like the way that it sounds, honestly, when the cards hit. So I've tried it out and I'm not mad at it. So hopefully it looks okay on camera. I wish this was a little bit darker, but it is what it is. Here we are. So I am currently taking a break from private readings. So if you have emailed me about these, I haven't been on email or done any blogging or done anything for Instagram. I'm running another business and it's engagement season. I'm a wedding photographer, so I've had quite a bit, and plus I have editing to do for that. So, and I have kids and they're in sports, and so I'm trying to keep a presence here on YouTube though and give you these readings. So that is what we are here for today. Let's get into advice on your current situation. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. Take out group 2 and take out group 3. And then hello, group 1. Before we start on your reading, we're going to get a little bit of an energy check-in to see what it is that we're here to talk about for advice on this situation that you have tapped into. Advice for group 1's current situation. The song that's coming into my head is by Florence and the Machine. Gosh, I wish I knew what the name of the song was, but it's like, sometimes I wonder if I should be medicated. But there's a part about the flame, I think it is. It might even be called The Flame, where it's like, and it picks me up, puts me down. It's like an ebb and flow of like highs and lows. Years ago, I heard this quote about healing and about how some days it feels like you're on top of the highest mountain, and then other days it feels like you're in the depths of the valley, and it feels like something that is intended to be spoken to you in this space a little bit. Energies for... You have surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to light. Venus is, the sensual side of self. Other energies, this one also is peeking out here. Other energies coming into this space are star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. You are not alone, isolation, physical connection and community, karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. You may be here, the situation that you're dealing with might be a karmic situation. And I feel in this space that is something that it's, there's a resistance in wanting to accept. let's get into the energy of what you might be dealing with. Yeah, it does feel like there's a bit of resistance in accepting that this could be a karmic situation. Karmic situations are very difficult to let go of. What kind of energy are we dealing with in this space, please? Oh, one wanted to come out. I don't know. Here. Oyster in the reverse. I have all of these in the upright, or many of them, I believe. I try to give a fair shot, yeah. So it is intended to be in the reverse. The oyster, when it is in the upright, is kind of in a space of creating beauty from something that is infiltrating our space. So when an oyster is, when they're making pearls, it's actually because there's something that was foreign in their environment that has made its way into their shell. Okay. So in the reverse, it's more like this idea of how a person operates is skewed. So there's the situation in which you've been looking at, it's been looking at it through sort of a lens of hope, and also kind of in the opposite of acceptance and wanting to build on something, but really not having, it's like what was being built on upon this space, or what was intended to be built on upon this within this space, is that the pearl sort of in this scenario would be you, or you building from, it's like, it's also a matter of one of you is learning from this and one of you is not yet. So in this scenario, in this situation, it seems like the person that is really intended to have, that is going through sort of a soul growth, or some sort of transformation within how they see the dynamics of relationships in particular, is you. You're the one who's intended to have a learning. Like, this person and this situation is sort of a karmic lesson for you on making the same choices and expecting different results. And so the energy that you've been working with is not really building anything in this space. They're kind of disconnected from it. They're not really in it. So you might not be this person's lesson. Something else could be this person's lesson, but this person is a lesson for you on building from kind of the ground up, or building from the muck, kind of, you know, building from something that feels foreign to us, it's like really building in the unknown a little bit, okay? Building this idea of a reality from things that we don't know. And that's one of the cycles in this space. I don't actually feel like this isolation card is about you isolating from the world around you, but more so that there's kind of a need to disconnect yourself from this particular situation, and a need to transmute this energy that is existing in this space, any kind of dwelling on this person. I am being invited to tell you that if they wanted to, they would. And so they don't want to. And that's just when you kind of have to move into acceptance. Because if there is intended to be a lesson for this person in this space, it's not going to be learned if you are repeating a cycle with them and kind of continuing to place yourself in a space that is emanating that you don't deserve better than what you've been given. And obviously, group one, you do. With this surrender to the sweetness and make love to life, I really do feel in this space in particular, there's sort of an intended purpose right now to get present in the surroundings, in the things that are right in front of you, rather than focusing on that which you don't know, or the unknown, or worrying about what somebody else is up to. Right now, the energies that you've been dealing with in terms of people are lessons, more so probably, honestly, without these lessons that you were learning in this space, if someone came forward to you that was healthy and able to meet you where you already kind of need them to meet you at, you would end up being in an energy that is sort of operating from a previous vantage point, because that healthiness would feel foreign to you. And so it's very common that we sort of seek out connection with what we're used to. And in this space, it seems like we're used to just feeling like we're not good enough. It's kind of like what is existing in this space. And it's kind of like you've been here before a little bit. And also, just with this oyster thing too, is kind of like, are you learning in this space? Are we learning what is intended to be learned here? Or are we just so fixated that we know the outcome of this scenario and the outcome of this situation, and because we feel it at a certain level? And it's like, at least for this time being, this person that you've been dealing with, they don't feel things the way that you're feeling things. So there's a little bit of a cloak here. There's something hidden, or being hidden in this situation, and being hidden in this scenario, being hidden. I don't think it's necessarily that it's hidden from you, but it feels more so that it's like there's just something that you're not willing to see. And it's because we do have a tendency to go after that what we want. And so is it really that this person is operating in fear? And if they are, then that just means that they are not ready for a bigger commitment, right? But sometimes I feel like we put these labels on it saying that someone is operating in fear, and really they're just not interested. All right. Yeah, and this situation has been really painful for you. It's been really difficult. It's like you have been sort of waiting, in waiting for this person to kind of be all of these things. Look at all this. Here that you have the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, the King of Pentacles. This is you in this sort of wishy energy. And then this is also, you know, in the dark, you know, out here is kind of like everything that's going on inside this woman's mind. Just here on the bottom of the deck, there needs some balance here. But it's like all of the eggs are in this basket, okay? This is her, and she's in this nest, and all of the eggs that she put in this basket exist in this one person. And it's, what she's not seeing is this is all this, with this illuminated stuff and in the dark, and what needs to be brought to light is this is inside her. This isn't necessarily inside this other person. And it's her kind of, you know, wanting sort of this passionate new beginning, or wanting this, wanting something to unfold here, wanting this person to come in with a little bit more stability, wanting this person to come in with a bit of more emotion, reminiscing a bit on the past, wanting them to see a future here, wanting them to kind of meet you halfway, wanting to be them to come in sort of in this king energy here, and really being in a space of trusting that. So trusting that this is the outcome. However, it's like the Four of Swords is like this card of reflection. It's this card of healing. And if this were all of that, if you were experiencing all of this, it wouldn't put you in the Four of Swords energy. And this person, more importantly, would come in like this as the Emperor. They would be in this space with the Ten of Cups energy, and in this space with the Six of Pentacles energy, being more than willing to give to you. This person isn't giving to this situation. This person is not present. And it's really this reminder too that because of everything that you are able to provide in this space, that you are the one who really, it's like some people, masculine energies in particular, that sort of already, it's like if they don't have to work for it, they don't try. And they operate on sort of a reward-based system. And if you're in a space of providing someone reward before they've done anything for it, they don't have to work for it, right? And by sticking around and kind of putting yourself in this space of like what you're doing is okay, you are essentially informing this person that it is okay for them to disrespect you, and that you are always going to be there, that you're going to be in this limbo space, that you're going to just hang out waiting for them to choose you, that this is sort of placeholder energy a little bit. This is what is that song that just came in? When I come around. Oh, Green Day. Green Day. I'm not even a fan of Green Day. But this is sort of this reminder that all of these things that you want in this scenario, perhaps what you're not seeing and what needs illuminated is that it isn't in this person, that this emperor that you are sort of anticipating, putting expectation into this space, is not here. It is not in this space. And it's like she's closed off really from seeing, from even allowing an emperor to come into her space. She's just here, and there's the heart that she has, and she's closed off in this space, really kind of in this having this sort of future illuminated in this space, but it's all inside her mind. And the mind doesn't always know when something isn't fact, and so it'll seek out that validation. And because this woman has decided that this is, that this person is more than they have presented, the mind seeks to have that validated. And she's just kind of in a space of faith. But what she's not seeing in this space is that what she has to provide and what she has to offer here doesn't, at least not in this moment, this person isn't able to provide that. They're not providing that. They aren't capable of providing that. And more importantly, they don't want to, because if they wanted to, they would. Right? And so what is she doing really when she's putting her own life on hold under the illusion that this thing will at some point come full circle? Well, she could be missing out on the opportunity to have an emperor come in who is ready for her and ready to meet her at this level, and arguably could be much quote unquote better for her. And oftentimes too, it's these energies that if there is an energy around us that is moving in fear, fear of meeting us halfway, fear of sometimes there are energies that if it's not easy, they don't really, and they know they have to put an effort, they won't do it. And so what I have found too sometimes is that these energies then come back around when the full disconnect has occurred, and when you've decided to move on. Unfortunately, oftentimes what happens is when you move on, that veil drops with it, and then you see this person for who they are and what they are and how they operate and what they anticipate, and then you're no longer in alignment with that person, and it's almost as though those rose-colored glasses come off and you see them more authentically and realize that it wasn't this person, it was the energy of this person. It was what they were doing and the familiarity of that. This would be a group that is seeking conclusion in spaces where they have been abandoned in particular. And so this is really what is kind of being illuminated in this space a bit, is that understanding that this is sort of a pathway on more of a karmic relationship than it is a soulmate relationship. They operate differently, I think. Anyway, I don't know. I've only experienced karmic relationships myself, so I imagine they operate differently. But I have soulmate contracts with friends. I have that in friendships. And I can tell you that I can be my whole self and I don't get tripped up and I don't feel like, oh my God, why did I say that? Or I don't say things impulsively or say things that I don't necessarily mean, but they just come out in the space when I'm talking to my best friend. And I don't feel judged either for having fleeting thoughts or having low days or bad days, or I can be my whole self in that energy. And that's how I know that that is the right, it's a, you know, it's a correct relationship for me. Other energies, I feel like I'm just not myself in, and I feel I'm inadvertently on guard, and I don't even realize it until after the fact. And I say something, I'm like, why did you say that way? And I realize that I'm on guard with certain energies because it's just not fluidity to it. But I know that there's a connection. You know what I'm saying? And so with this, it's like sometimes too, the feeling of being like, if they just saw me for who I am and saw me in my authenticity, and I was able to kind of bring down this barrier around me, they could see me for who I really am, right? And I think that, you know, sometimes things just need space. There needs to be distance between, there needs to be an opportunity to grow through what is intended to be grown through in this space. What is the lesson here? A big lesson in this is that there is some sort of insecurity that is keeping you here. Something about yourself that you feel like isn't good enough, that deserves more than what you're experiencing in this situation. What is that thing? And then find that thing, dissect that thing, and get rid of it. Fix it, you know. There is some sort of something within self. It's like, this is kind of buried beneath the surface a bit. This is something, it sort of operates on a subconscious level. And you'll know this because when you feel rejected in this space, those insecurities will come up pretty heavily, and then it'll knock you off your trajectory. It'll knock you off balance. And it's also, too, another hit here is like, why are we maintaining this energy? Why are we allowing ourselves to stay in limbo in a space where we don't feel like we're being seen for who we are? And also, what is it about ourselves that we're not seeing that is keeping us from having more meaningful connections? Because there's something here that isn't being illuminated. There's some sort of, it could even be a bit of an imposter syndrome, but it also could be a bit of Dunning-Kruger too, which is the opposite of imposter syndrome, where there's something about ourselves that we're not willing to accept fully, and that might be a barrier to us having more meaningful connections. It has a lot to do with self-doubt and sort of being in this space of not trusting ourselves. Let's see here. And I just want to tell you, to group one, people do come back around. They do. If a connection is valid, if it is real, okay, it will come back around. You know, anytime I've kind of deeply connected with somebody and then disconnected completely from them, they've come back around. But this is just making sure that you're not putting your life on hold. There's some advice here. Oh, whoa. What is some advice? Oh, that might shake, huh? And this is too, like, you see, this guy looks very similar, right? He looks like kind of the same guy. The Seven of Pentacles is like, this kind of hit here too, is that somebody who is really interested in you will want to like put the work in. They'll actually, dude, I just heard this, or I just saw this thing this morning, and it was like the sperm, what did it say? The sperm the sperm does not, the egg does not chase the sperm, never chase a man. And sometimes you gotta kind of give certain energies a whole lot of space. A whole lot of space. It's sort of intended to kind of walk away from anything that isn't this. And move into sort of a new beginning, a new way of looking at things. So it's just a reminder that those who are interested in us, like this guy here, he's like willing to plant the seed. He is willing to, what is all over my finger? Do you see that? He's willing to plant the seed, and he would come in with sort of a bit more emotion, you know, maybe even a bouquet of flowers. I had Judgment on the bottom of the deck a couple times. Even after shuffling, so I'm going to bring it out. We have the Chariot, Ten of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands. And then here in the bottom of the deck is the Four of Cups. Yeah, so it's like she's kind of tunnel visioned here on what if, okay, but not really seeing this like fruitful new beginning. And so in this space, it's like, it's kind of like you're intended to really walk away from the burdens of, so it's also inviting you to remind you that you have one life to live that you know of. And so don't keep your eggs in this basket. Step outside of this and explore. It's kind of inviting you to put yourself out there a little bit. It's inviting you to disconnect from hanging on in this space. And then if this person that you've been dealing with really does see you in the way that you might think they do, or maybe they don't. That's the thing, is that, you know, sometimes it's interesting because we can think that somebody is able to kind of understand us, and then we communicate with them, and then we realize that they don't understand us at all. And it's like you can continue fighting to feel seen somewhere, or you could go where people will just see you without you having to fight for it. And this like walking away kind of thing is that karmic pattern, right? Because I feel like in this space, it takes a long time to let go. And this is sort of, it's a trust fall, baby. You know, it's like, was that song by Pink? It's kind of inviting you actually to pivot outside of this and to start exploring new horizons. Because what happens when what's going on around us in the trajectory of our life, like in the alignment, when we're feeling in this energy, how is life going in that space? Things can get all haywire when we're kind of caught in the, you know, in the current of karmic energy. And then the environments and the situations that we're dealing with, or the way that we feel about self, is then illuminated in this space. And so at the very basis of this problem here, okay, is the alignment. Being aligned with self-doubt is very, very, very low on the vibrational scale. I think it's like the lowest, or one of the lowest, the second to lowest on like the emotional scale of vibration or energy. And if we continue to sit in that space, then that more of that is going to be illuminated to us in the world around us. And it's going to keep you away from this. And so this is kind of telling you, like, this is what you're anticipating here from this person or from an energy, and you're not receiving it. There are energies that would be more than willing to do this for you. So walking away from this situation, planting seeds in a new beginning, putting yourself out there somewhere else outside of this, disconnecting and really disconnecting, and finding a way to just redirect any thoughts that gravitate towards this situation. That once you do that, and once you kind of move into this new beginning, that's when things will kind of come down and you're going to see things more clearly. And that's going to get you into an alignment with this Ten of Pentacles energy, this ultimate abundant energy. Because right now, where we're operating in is scarcity, okay? And if we continue to maintain alignment with scarcity, this is going to infiltrate other areas of our life, not just our love life. This is going to infiltrate all of the other relationships that we have, and also the relationship that we have with self. And so this sort of judgment here is coming in, and it's like I think it's interesting in this deck is like she's kind of freeing herself from herself, because this right here in this group 1 space is a personal bind, and it's also a bind that is existing in the unknown, because this other energy that you've been dealing with, it's like it's a lot of filling in the void and filling in the blanks, and what can exist in there is sort of a desperation. And so we got to get rid of that and move into a space where we're more desperate about our own happiness and moving into that trajectory. Okay, let me get you some charms here. Group 1. I'll move these. These charms are from Jolene from a subscriber named Jolene. It's her little business. All right. All right. What does this one say? I can't read that. I'm too blind. Because you got this little like champagne bottle. It's like celebrating you. There's a shell. Reminds me of the ocean, like really freeing ourselves emotionally. This is, I don't know what this is, but this red stone. It's like a little paper clip here that's a cat. It's a shark tooth, really. Then you have Libra, Cancer, crown chakra. There's another one of those little red, look at these. This is interesting. Do you see this? There's so many pairs here, right? Here's a pair of these. Here's a pair of these. And there's also a pair of shells. Interesting. Very twinning energy. If you believe in that sort of thing. One element is letting go in order to come together, by the way. You have to let go. So the longer you prolong it, the longer you prolong union, by the way. Just saying. No pressure or anything. Okay. Letters that you have: B, L, Q, E, J, X, H, L, M, J. Numbers 3, 23, 9, 19, 11, and 30. All right, group 1, that is your message. I don't feel like most of the readings are this like deep. Sometimes they are, but if you can do me a huge favor and like this video, that helps my channel tremendously. If you would like to come back for more content in the future, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Leave me a comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. Group 1. Group 2. Hello, group 2. I love this deck. I wish that I knew what it was called. It's the... It's weird because it doesn't really have a name. It's like Craft Cards Tarot. All I know is that when I bought it, the word mystic was spelled wrong on Amazon, and that's like the only thing I know about it. Let's go ahead and get into the energies in your space so we can figure out what is going on in this situation and what you need advice with in this moment. Something that's coming up in your energy is, I saw this quote today about how there are a lot of adults that are healing their inner child. And so it was like when I see someone doing a hobby that is a bit quote unquote childish, I don't judge them. And I think it's funny because one of the things that I feel like helps my inner child is actually this space and doing tarot. When I was like really little, I used to play with my mom's tarot cards, and it was fun to like explore that realm at, especially at such a age that was a little bit more curious, or you know what I mean. And so oftentimes I feel like this space is really helping my inner child. And so for some reason I feel like that's something that you're intended to know in this. I don't know. All right, what is the energy here? You are not for everyone. All paths lead home. And what else do we have going on? Whoa! Those just like flew out onto the floor. What did you have? Lifting the veil. Surrender to the sweetness. Inner earth. A whale, orca. Okay, so lifting the veil is questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. All paths lead to home. Inner authority, intuition. Turn your gaze within. Surrender to the sweetness. Venus energy, pleasure, joy. Make love to life. Inner earth, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Whale, orca, and elders. Share your song. Frequency of sound. Diving deep. It's interesting. And then I had that like inner child thing come up. It's like being a little bit more playful, being a little bit more... I feel like in this space you've been dealing with like where you've been a bit serious or been kind of caught up in sort of, even could be in a Scorpion energy, a little bit defensive. Kind of determining that, it's weird, group 2, because I feel like you've been kind of in a space of really not belonging where you're at, but just not, it's like there's resistance in that energy a bit. And it's like, that you have an awareness of that kind of, I think anyway, it's kind of teetering between that where and then you kind of doubt yourself on it. And this is really like this what's kind of being illuminated, or the advice in this space is that you're on the right path of understanding that where you're at right now is not where you're intended to be. And there's choices or things that need to be kind of unveiled to you, or that need to be illuminated to you in order to understand the path forward. Half of this is it feels like you've been kind of weathering some kind of storm, and have this sort of, I guess, like a longing to kind of feel something differently. But this is talking a bit about how this space that you're kind of searching for outside of self is something that can be found from within. It does have a little bit to do, I would really argue that there's something in this space from your childhood that you're not maybe seeing. Could be some inner child healing that needs to be done in this space, but there's something with this home energy. There's something in your past, within your childhood, or within sort of the innocence of that space that has been sort of left behind. And this is something that could kind of bring out a little bit of vitality in your life, or a little bit of playfulness. I think that this energy has been a little bit guarded. Let's see what energy you have in your environment right now, or what's going on. You have this mouse and the bee. So the mouse is like very curious energy. So is the bee. It's interesting because it's very similar energy. It's like you've been very, it's like, it's kind of being in this energy of just like planting seeds in various spaces and just seeing kind of what will bloom, but not really having any kind of direction, I guess. And really being a bit timid, or a bit safe even. You know, it's okay. So it's kind of like these two energies operate in somewhat of a similar fashion, but the bee has a bit more tenacity. So the mouse is operating in the dark, a curiosity, and kind of being sort of living in that sort of nocturnal space a bit, where they're exploring in the dark. There's kind of not really knowing where to go, and having not really having things illuminated, and operating a bit with a blindfold. The bee is more, you know, the bee is obviously operating in the light, and the bee is sort of going in and pollinating in various spaces, and kind of seeing what transpires in those. Oh, you know what else is interesting is the mouse kind of runs from things, whereas the bee moves towards things. So you could be in an energy right now where you're kind of hiding, or avoiding, or running, or, you know, not really putting in action towards things, really kind of being in a space of choosing kind of to be in the dark, choosing kind of to it's kind of being in a space too of deciding that something isn't for you before knowing more information. And what's interesting too is it's like you're not for everyone. It's almost like the environment and the space that you're in, it's like that's where you kind of feel the most disconnected. But then when there is energies that would make you feel that would kind of take you out of that, it's like there's fear there, or there's too much unknown there. And I feel like in this energy you're very comfortable being in the known, very comfortable knowing 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I mean? Like you're very comfortable with knowing the outcome of things. And so when you're presented with an opportunity to you know, explore something that maybe would illuminate more information to you, it's like you're not doing that in this energy. And this like veil that needs to be really lifted is like on the other side of exploration, on the other side of action, doing something, you know, moving towards something with curiosity could open up a whole new world of understanding for you. And it is within this space that there's some sort of there's like something that would come full circle that you experienced within childhood, kind of like a, honestly it feels like old wounding being mended a bit, where if you chose this path, this whole new beginning could unfold for you if you just trusted it. Interesting. Okay, let's go into what your reading is about, or what the message is for you in this space, group 2. What advice does group 2 need on this situation, please? Should probably actually shuffle these, huh? You have the star coming out on the bottom of the deck. Page of Swords. Maybe using your voice, speaking some truth. 8 of Wands, moving a little bit more quickly in your decision-making process. Pentacles move to the bottom of the deck. This will bring you into more abundant energy. All right. The Hermit. Yeah, the Hermit kind of flew out like this, so I'm assuming it's going to be this way. Hermit. That very analytical Virgo type energy. 7 of Pentacles. It's like inviting you actually to come out of your little hermit cave. 7 of Pentacles is putting in effort, movement towards stability, reflecting a bit. Here you're coming out as the Star. And then you have that 4 of Pentacles. It's kind of like you're being invited to be a little bit more greedy about your abundance. Moon on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, this flew right into my lap. 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, sorry, in the reverse. On the bottom of the deck, you have the Wheel of Fortune, the 3 of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. So this would be like a new beginning for you, okay? There's just a little bit of self-doubt that kind of exists in this space. There's a lot of burden that you hang on to here. And it's like, for what purpose? In some of it, it's like you are intended to put a lot down right now. Put a lot down that doesn't belong to you, that is no longer serving you, that isn't really your burden to bear. It's like you kind of have a little bit of a with the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands always kind of reminds me of like a caregiver archetype of, you know, hanging on to everything for everybody else and kind of carrying it around as like their baggage to hold on to. And this is like, no, we need to put that down. That doesn't belong to us. Let's move into self. Let's choose self. In this space and in this scenario, it's like a lot of the decision making that exists in the group 2 space is often within consideration of others. And while that's a great space to be in, and you know, a wonderful way to look at life. The balance that comes into this is making sure that what you're also doing is really chasing what you want. And I feel like in this space there has been like more so of an avoidance than there has been a whole lot of chasing, where there has been a lot of sort of going within or deciding something isn't for us before really even exploring it further or seeing things in a more all-encompassing way. And it has a lot to do with this sort of past pains, or there's something in the past, right? There's some sort of it's like you kind of have decided that you think you know something because of something that you've experienced previously, and this is really inviting you to explore the idea that you're wrong. And I hate to say it that way, but I had I think it was yesterday, I was going to do a reading for your group on Instagram. I was going to do a pick a card, and I had actually sat down and started writing the blog post on this, and then I just got distracted, and then energy shifts so much, but by the time that I was going to come back to it, something had changed in the energy, and so I just was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna scrap this. I guess it was just for me. But the card that came up in your space was the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups, and the way it was presented here was that it was like looking at, rather than zooming out and looking at something from an all-encompassing space, your group and your collective was more zoned in or zoomed in on the details, and really deciding that they knew something based on very little information. Actually, it's like not having the opportunity to learn more about this situation or scenario before deciding, and before looking at it and going, this thing is not, this isn't going to work out for XYZ, rather than being able to kind of like zoom out a bit and look at it more openly. And in this space too right now, it's like you're kind of intended to be a little bit more greedy about your individual abundance. I see the Four of Pentacles, that's really a card of greed. That's just how it comes off for me, because you know, it says like in traditional tarot, it's this man like holding on to all the pentacles and having the pentacles beneath his feet and on his head, and he's just like holding on to his abundance for dear life. And in this deck, it is like these pentacles are intertwined by a snake. You know what I mean? So it's like and that's like a that like restriction. Okay, it's like I am not letting go of how and also that too, it could be a little bit of that. It's like I'm not letting go of how I see things, and this is kind of inviting you to actually give into a little bit more than you are giving into now, in order to get you out of this like burdensome space, because it's kind of stopping you a little bit from being able to experience a new beginning, but also experience something even like fulfilling or illuminating, or that reminds you. At the center of the read, you have this the star, and underneath that you have the Three of Swords in the reverse. So this is like past pains, or coming out of a past pain, and coming out of it really on top, and understanding that it's like there could exist some self-doubt in this space of thinking that, you know, there's that what you've experienced is not fair or unjust, but it's like really you're being invited to see this more as like there's a lesson that's kind of been placed into this environment. There's something that you are intended to learn in this space, and what you're learning in this space really has a lot more to do with seeing yourself in it's like it's a lot less about really like seeing what comes to you and kind of being a sitting duck, and more so where you can give into in order to expand your horizon. And also, I just want to say too, like I'm invited to like remind myself of that, like you're not for everyone card as well. It's like you could be the type of person that really gives a part of yourself to anyone around you, and this is kind of like inviting you to really distinguish which energies are there for you and care for you and would be there for you regardless of what you have going on in your life. Like what energies around you have kind of like made it clear to you that they really care about you. All right, anything else for group 1? Anything else for, I'm sorry, group 2? Oh, the whole deck. It's funny because this is the Queen of Swords energy is about communication, right? And like boundaries and coming in and being like speaking your truth, right? And then the entire deck kind of fell out with that, which is like, it feels like this is a space of anxiety for you. And then immediately with that came out the 8 of Swords. And so the 8 of Swords is a bit more of that, here's that 10 of Wands again. It's like this, what's kind of happening here a little bit. And then you have the 5 of Pentacles and the Moon. On the bottom of the deck, you have Strength. This is sort of being in this burdensome kind of space, or holding on to just all of this that doesn't, some of these burdens, honestly, that are existing a little bit in this space seem to be surrounding a little bit of doubt, but kind of being like, kind of stubbornly clung to an idea of how things are kind of supposed to be, or you know, you could actually be stubbornly clung to, how do I say this, like a pathway on how you want things to be, but perhaps like, is this scenario, is this space, is this situation, are you then kind of putting yourself in a space that's unreachable, or are you like really kind of closing yourself off to new beginnings, or closing yourself off to possibility because it's like you want things to operate a certain way, and then also like, how much effort are you putting into those spaces when you, it's like, how do I explain this? It's like wanting something from others that you are not willing to do yourself. And how fair is that? And also, like, you know, the 5 of Pentacles, one of the decks that I really love, the depiction of the 5 of Pentacles over here, is the Light Seers deck, because in the Light Seers deck, like, there's that key in the hole to like a pathway to a new beginning or to a more abundant space, and she's just kind of wallowing within herself and not seeing that the key is sitting right behind her. All she would have to do is like get out of her mind and see, oh, I possess the ability to open this door to a new beginning. I just have to get up and do something. And this is like kind of, it's like, this is the energy it's kind of inviting you to get out of, is like, there's a little bit of limbo here, and a little bit of just holding on to, here right underneath the 10 of Wands is that Strength card. It's like holding on to all this stuff, and some of the stuff that you could be hanging on to is sort of a limiting belief system, a limiting pattern of beliefs, or deciding something is just the way it is without really, it's kind of in this way and in this mindset, it keeps you from kind of exploring new avenues. And so you're kind of intended to do something here. It's like to take action a little bit, and this could be surrounding communication in particular, like being more honest and being more straightforward. Could actually save you a little bit of this internal turmoil or any of these kind of burdens, because this communication thing that's popping into this space is kind of, it's a problem a little bit. It's problematic, and it has a little bit to do with like not saying what needs to be said, or not speaking up, or not speaking out, or even a little bit of fear surrounding speaking our truth. Okay, let's get you some charms here, group 2. I hope that resonates. sometimes I feel like these like somewhat mystery reads are a little bit vague. All right, let's see what kind of charms we have for you. Whoa. Oh, look, the sweetness of life was like, I'm way over here. This candy, you know, is out of reach. Here's this guy. My friend gave me this, and I put it in the charm thing without realizing it. I had moved some stuff around. So this actually wasn't even supposed to be in here. But this is about abundance. This is an abundance crystal. And then you have this like little green crystal. Green is also abundance. There's a shell, being a bit more emotional. Here's this like shark tooth biting down on life. You may have been weathering some storms. You have in Aries, Scorpio. There's this little star here. There's this little gem reminding you that you are a gem. This, I don't remember. I guess this is a root, I think. Root chakra. And grounding a little bit, getting out of your head. Let's see what we have for letters. Quite a few letters in this space. Oh my gosh, so many letters. Holy moly. Maybe you do need to communicate more. We have T, Y, P, N, M, M, H, C, S, F, A, Y, I, A, B, and Q. And then you have 13, 23, and 1. All right, group 2, do me a huge favor and like this video if you resonated with this. Liking the video helps my channel tremendously. Leave me a comment down below. And if you would like to stick around for more content in the future, do subscribe to my channel. We'd love to have you here. Thank you so much, group 2. Enjoy the rest of your day. Group 3. Ooh, right off the bat, we're opening into the Emperor. What am I doing, actually? I'm already shuffling your cards. I don't really know why. Before we shuffle your cards, before we do this, let's get into the energies for your reading. Let's shuffle this deck. Get out of here. A little fly that's very interested in what we have going on here. We have the Void popping out right away, as well as Earth pulsing. We're going to get into your energies for what you have going on in this situation and what advice you need in this situation. I am hearing the song, Here Comes the Sun. Oh my gosh, this thing. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. Weight of the world, boundaries, let it go, it's not yours to carry. That's too many, but we'll take this guy. Deep cellular healing, one more. Actually, this one's poking out, so we'll just take this. And Star Brothers. Deep cellular healing is Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. I feel like you're kind of going into a space of healing, needing to heal something. Let's see what kind of energy is in your environment right now. What do you got going on? What kind of energy is in group 3's space? That's that frog weathering some storms. And then you have the hummingbird and the camel. Maybe letting go of the things that are burdening you. Maybe wanting to move into a little bit more of a vitality for life. Doing a little bit more exploration or being a little bit more curious about life. Getting out of sort of a serious space. I do feel like this has, there's just something going on in your environment or in your world around you that just feels like that you're just kind of been weathering a storm. It's feeling very burdensome. I swear, if this fly does not get out of here, we might have a problem. I can't channel with a fly. There could be somebody that's in your energy that's really annoying. I don't know how. I mean, that's just the way it is to say it that way. There could be some kind of energy that is like they're a pest. They like are pestering you, or they are like they require your attention in some way, and it's really like in an obnoxious way. Because I really wasn't too you know, that wasn't really bothering me until this space, and then it just was like, hello, I'm here. You know, so there could be some kind of energy that you've been dealing with that is just really requires a lot of you, and it's like it's just feeling like you want outside of that and want to be on the outside of that. Don't want to have to deal with that. This is really a burdensome space for you, hanging on to a little bit more than maybe is your weight to carry. It's like holding on to more than you are even really capable of holding in this space right now. It's like really kind of all being kind of expected of you to hang on to here. And this is kind of a release here, or the intended purpose is to release this and to let go, and understand like what belongs to you here and what doesn't belong to you. So that is what your reading is going to be about. All right. Now we have the moon coming out, as well as the emperor. The moon, there could be some things that you're not seeing about this situation, or some things that will be coming to light in this situation. You have the hermit, so finding that light within. Really needed to take a break a bit. And then you have the chariot too, so something moving very quickly. All right, what is the message in this space? Oh, how interesting. What are the chances of those cards all like fascinating? They're like, you mentioned this? Interesting. I love when something like that happens, especially when it's on camera. All right, what else do we have for group 3 on their situation, advice they need in this space? Oh, some of these want to pop out. Oh boy. I'll take these two. So many major arcana in here, though. Like literally, you have the chariot, the hermit, the emperor, the hierophant, and the justice card, and judgment on the bottom of the deck, as well as the 8 of wands, and then that page of wands here. Something like moving, and something moving in your favor, or there could be sort of I really don't feel like this emperor is necessarily like another energy. I feel like this is you. Even the hierophant, I feel like this is you as well. Now, these are masculine energies, but you can take it, you know, if you are a feminine watching this, then take it as the empress or the high priestess. I did actually see the high priestess popping out on the bottom of the deck. The reason that this could exist in sort of a masculine space is because you're intended to sort of take action outside of this and take action into, you know, that's a bit more of a masculine energy, right? To movement, or to be a bit more, a bit more tenacious in this space, a bit more passionate about what it is that you want here. And so even though you're like moving to go within, but it's more so like this moving to choose self, and then bringing the scales of balance in your favor. The judgment card, the interesting thing about the judgment card is like coming out of the darkness a little bit, and is kind of how it's depicted in many of the tarot decks is like, it's like truth emanating, or freedom even. And this is like you moving into your free, like you are kind of intended to get tunnel visioned in this moment on your justice, on your path, and on choosing self and having faith in self, and having and becoming sort of this emperor like energy where you're taking charge and you're the one, like the ball is kind of in your court right now. You have, I think it was yesterday or the day before that, you had the leg up as one of your cards, and that is reminded again in this space. It's like you have the upper hand in this, so do what needs to be done. And it's like, don't really focus on this isn't really about other people here in this environment. This is really a space of doing something for yourself, and not really, honestly, it's like it's kind of inviting you to reflect on the energies that when they moved a certain way with you, did they care about how it impacted you? I think not, right? It's like you being sort of somebody who might be a little bit more caring, and maybe a little bit more passionate or compassionate even, might not want to move in a way that is inviting you to sort of lay down the law, or inviting you to put your foot down. But this is sort of the advice in this situation, train confirmation coming in, is that you are intended to kind of put your foot down and stop accepting this, whatever this situation is, and really choose yourself. And that the scales of justice is these, like, the are tipping that in your favor by having faith that you are, how do I want to say this, that you're in the right in this situation, like you are on the right side of this scenario. And it's easy to get tripped up here, but it's like you're kind of being invited to very quickly even move into this energy, coming in like a freight train, maybe, you know, loaded like a freight train, flying like an aeroplane. Anyone know Guns N' Roses? But this is requiring some action, some movement. And it's really, even though the Hermit is sort of like the Hermit and the Hierophant, very similar energies, and they are kind of within. In this space, it's more like, it's like you are kind of intended to choose yourself in all moments. It's like you have the upper hand here. Take action. Let's see what else we have for you for advice. That's like the biggest thing here too, is like just choose yourself, take action. You know, there's that High Priestess popping out. Queen of Cups. You could have previously actually been in a different energy in this space, been a lot more emotionally open, emotionally available, and kind of like even being in a space of just really emotional intelligence, or offering a lot of compassion in this space. And you're kind of realizing that what you've been accepting for self in this, here's that Hermit again, what you've been accepting for yourself in this space is really like putting yourself last. And you're just really invited to stop doing that. And really take some time to reflect on this. Whoa. Have a little bit of patience too. It's like what you want and the outcome that you want. It's like once there is a little bit of anxiousness here, right? It's like what you want and the outcome that you're seeking is available to you, but it's like you got to balance this situation out a little bit, have a little bit more faith, and then things will kind of unfold in your favor a little bit more, having a bit of strength, really getting outside of this, allowing the situation to kind of hold you back, allowing it to keep you in this sort of limbo, or this reflective energy, or this like space of not really being able to see things more in an all-encompassing way. Another thing too that's coming in here, as well as like there's some kind of distraction or something that you kind of use to distract yourself with. in this energy that is kind of a detriment, and it's like it keeps you from being able to focus on this situation and how to handle it. It's like, and also it's like really reliant on other people and their opinions and what they think, and maybe even you could even be sort of maybe seeking advice in sort of the wrong places. And this is like, you kind of have the answers within self, and so it's like inviting you to kind of reflect on like what is it that you need to do, and then just do it, rather than saying like, is this okay if I do this, or seeking like guidance outside of self in certain spaces or with certain people. Really understanding like who it is that you're communicating with and what kind of advice they're providing you. But mainly it's like, it's almost like inviting you to that, you know what you need to do in this situation, you know what you need to do in this scenario, and rather than seeing what everybody else thinks, like, we need to move into a space of choosing for self what is best for self and those in our like immediate environment, and then moving from that trajectory, and then making that a goal. And then every time, like when you're focused on this or you're thinking about it, you're not thinking about like dwelling on it in a negative way, but finding a solution in the problem. So thinking about it, yes, but thinking about it in like, how can I get through this? How can I solve this? What can I do in this space? How can I move forward, honoring myself in this space and not really caring how that impacts everybody else? This is like a real me moment, and I think that your collective here in this space have gone through that quite a bit. All right, let's see if I can get you some charms here. Hopefully that's not too vague. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the message, if it doesn't hit with me, I don't connect with it, and I'm like, does that make sense? You know what I mean? Hopefully it does. All right, charms. You have been weathering a little bit of a storm. The one thing, I don't know if this applies to you, but it's just something that just came up, is like, make sure you're not doing things to kind of numb yourself from dealing with this problem. Like, don't use, there are certain tools that actually can make things worse for us. Certain sort of numbing tools, if you know what I mean, can make things worse for us. So stay out of that. These things are kind of all connected here. You have this green crystal here. You have Scorpio and Libra. Scorpio and Libra, I'm pretty sure came up in the 1 and 2 spaces. I don't know if you're connected to those. Music. One thing you could use maybe is music to kind of calm you, help you get through things. Maybe you're a oh my goodness, musician. Maybe you can. I think that for me, I sing, and singing is so therapeutic. So if you are, why can I not say musician? My word. It's reminding me of that chick that was saying magician. Oh my gosh. Anyway. All right, letters that you have in this space is B, T, H, D, V, Q, A, I, Y. And numbers you have is 5, 10, and 30. 5 is at a karmic number, by the way. So could be dealing with a karmic situation, and it's quite a possibility. But yeah. Do me a favor, group 3. If this resonated with you, can you please like this video? Liking the video helps my channel tremendously. If you'd like to stick around for more readings in the future, do subscribe to my channel, turn on bell for notifications, and leave me a comment down below and let me know if this resonated with you. Thank you so much for being here, group 3. Enjoy the rest of your day.